Juraj, my
I
friend, welcome. How are you?
doing great. Thank you for having me.
A couple of weeks ago, you sent me one of your devices, and I have to say, I reached out to you and was like, okay, I have to figure out how this thing works because so many people are raving about it. So many people are talking about it. And I just wanted to understand more. And I've had this plugged in, and it's been one of the more enjoyable experiences in my home office that I have. And I can't explain why. So I'm hoping we can uncover a little bit of that today.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to that.
But you have a very interesting background with the company, in that I would love to hear just how you came to Somavedic, and actually maybe even before that, how Somavedic got started.
Sure. Yeah. So, Somavedic, the very first, let's say, prototype was produced in 2010. So it's not like a new device. But like the story goes way before that, when the founder, Ivan Rybyansky, the founder and inventor of Somavedic, was struggling quite a lot with his health, with his pancreas and some other organs. And even like the medicine, traditional doctors, they just gave him pills and told him that, yeah, well, in two years you'll end up on a wheelchair. And so he was not satisfied with that and started to study Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine and precious stones and minerals. And later he was able basically to heal himself from whatever he was suffering with.
Hmm.
And then he was helping other people with different health problems. And people started to approach him that they have problems with geopathic stress or geopathic zones. Those are like negative zones coming from below the earth, when for example there's like a flowing river below the surface.
Hmm.
And he got the idea that he could put like whatever he learned into a device. So he put together different precious stones and minerals and metals together, and to basically mitigate the negative effects of geopathic zones.
Hmm.
So even the first prototype that he put together worked. So yeah, this was in 2010, and since then he is upgrading them, and a bit later he basically, let's say, like added the EMF, then later EMF mitigation, then later water structuring. But all of this was quite a long process, and there's like every product you have R&D behind it. So this
Hmm.
was similar case. So it's not just that you just put together some precious stones and minerals and voila, like you've got a great product. Because otherwise, like everybody that has loves precious stones and minerals and have them at their place, they would be, like protected. But this is not exactly how it works. So so we came to that. Basically, this explains how like Somavedic was built and how it's different from other similar devices. So the main difference is that in its core, we call it heart, there are like physical precious stones and minerals and precious
Hmm.
metals like platinum, palladium, copper, silver. And we are amplifying their frequencies and properties into environment.
Hmm.
We are amplifying that with other energy amplifiers in like a natural form, like that you find in nature. So the Somavedic, even though you have to plug it into electricity, works even when it's not plugged in.
Interesting.
It has about like 50 to 60% efficacy when it's not plugged in, but it's still working.
Hmm.
So you have this design, the device where inside are these stones and minerals, and we are amplifying them. And in this way, it is creating like a coherent field around the unit with a radius of up to 100 feet into
Hmm.
all directions, up,
Hmm.
down, left, right. So it's like a bubble, like a protective bubble around the unit. And when we are in this way, when we are in this field, our cells, they basically don't negatively react to the like negative effects of EMF radiation
Hmm.
on a cellular level.
Hmm.
So what Somavedic is doing, it's not blocking the EMF. The EMF is still there. If you would have like an EMF meter, it will be still there.
Yeah, because I take out my Gauss meter and that's still there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But the cells don't react to that, and we do have third-party lab studies showing that we measured it like indirectly, like via biomarkers,
Yeah.
like HRV, red blood cells, free
Hmm.
radicals. So, and like these were showing, like from Germany, Austria, or Slovenia, or even Czech Republic from here, uh, they were showing like positive effects on our biology.
Yeah,
So,
because one of the studies mentions blood pressure as well, right? In terms of, and I think the conclusion of the study was like, hey, this is improving blood pressure in people, but it needs to be further studied. Did I have that right?
yes, yes, exactly. This is the most recent study, and there's very it's going on right now, like a
Hmm.
official clinical trial, like a double-blinded study.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And there's like an interesting story how we get there, because two medical doctors bought the Somavedic because they heard great of things about it. So they bought it for their homes, and their wives like felt it right away. I mean, their slept better, uh, their headaches were gone. Because lots of times, especially with women, they get uh, like they get rid of headaches. I mean, they just are far like less.
Hmm.
And at the same time, they starting to observe that their flowers, they're growing faster and are blooming longer. So the doctor said like, well, we have these flowers that are growing faster, so there's definitely something going on in the area, in its space. So we have to find out how to measure it. So and they approached us. They approached us if they can like do like a small test with 10 people, and as they are working at the balneology institute, which is something like a spa where you treated with mud, like a healing mud. So that's
Hmm.
balneology. So they took 10 people, like elderly people, and they were measuring blood pressure twice a day, and their mood. Like they had like standardized tests on how they felt, and this test was going on for 4 weeks. At the end of the day, end of the month, they basically found out that with 7 out of 10 people, the blood pressure was lower than the first week as they were measuring it, which they were quite amazed by that. We were as well, because the Somavedic was not designed to lower blood pressure, and there was no other change in drugs, in lifestyle, whatever.
So
So
interesting. And I know you're doing a double blind study, so I assume that the N now is much bigger than 7 people. So hopefully, when that
yes,
comes
yes.
out, it'll be a little bit more supportive. That's awesome.
Yes, exactly. So they've done this small 10 people study, and they were like amazed by the results. We were as well. And what they said, what surprised them even more was the psychological state of the patients
Yeah.
that improved even more. Like they just felt better. They were like more smiling, more optimistic.
Okay. So I think you cut off just a little bit there, but as I understand it, you're going through a double blind study right now. Do you know the size of the population that you're sampling right now? for that double-blind study?
I think it's about 55 people.
Okay, so the N is much more significant. Is it both male and female, or is it just more?
Yes, yes, yes. Both
Okay,
male and female. Yes.
okay.
So yes, this is something that we are really excited about, because they said that once it will pass, which the first test showed that there's a good chance that it will. They will apply. They will actually file like a Somavedic to be as a like an official
A medical device,
a
right?
medical device. Yes, exactly. I
Yeah,
was looking for the word, like a medical device, which is far beyond we could imagine like years ago, when you have, let's say, like an EMF mitigation device that would be
yeah.
like a medical device.
So, Juraj, I just want to back you up a little bit here because, well, one, I want to hear. Let's start with how you became involved with the company because I understand the founder had his own issues with pancreas, which I love that story. How did you originally get involved?
Yes, so there's story to that as well, and it was more than 3 years ago, uh, where I was basically like, again, because during my childhood I was fascinated with Egypt and pyramids and like
Hmm.
planets and whatever. So I was reading interesting stuff, and then like later I was studying like what the pyramids can do when you put like water in it or fruit or whatever, that they last for like much longer.
Hmm.
So I wanted to like experiment with it, and I was looking for a pyramid for my home where I could just sit in and like just test that out. And I realized that like a friend of mine was selling them. So I visited him, and as well, when I got there, like all over his living room there were like Somavedics, like these lights. I didn't know like at that time like what they were,
Hmm.
but they looked very nice. Like I s- so so we had a like a discussion about the pyramids, etc. But then of course, I asked like, what is that? What's on your table? Because he had the Somavedic there, and on top of that, there was like a jug of water. So he gave me that water, and it was very like smooth and silky water. So we started like to talking about that, and he basically told me like amazing stories of customers that were experiencing Somavedics, and some were like really funny, some were basically like lifesavers.
Hmm.
So yeah, I took one Somavedic home, and which is and the interesting part is, which I'm still like learning with customers and on finding out, that the Somavedic, it might sound strange, but it really uh, basically reacts to the owner in a way too,
Yeah.
because I was there surrounded, well, I don't know, like 20 Somavedics, and I got home, turned basically on mine, and like my jaw started buzzing and my head
Hmm.
started spinning. Like I was like a bit like a drunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like something you'd do in Prague on like a Friday late night, but it's just.
Yeah, exactly. So this went on for about 2 to 3 hours, and even my girlfriend, she felt like something like on her chest going on, but then it just went away. And for me it was interesting because to observe, because when there was like one Somavedic, and I could like physically feel that something was going on when I turned it on. But day before, I was surrounded like with 20, and there was nothing going on. And
Hmm.
just recently, I was yesterday talking with a customer that has very similar experience. So, but yeah, so I had a Somavedic at home. I was working for a different company, and then I brought it to my office. So, and when you go to work to the same place, like you know the exact levels of energies you have when you basically when you're leaving the work, and you are not thinking about it. So I brought some Vedic to the office, and when I was leaving that day, I felt like a huge amount of energy. Like when you would, like wake up in the morning. So it was the same levels around like 4 or 5 afternoon.
Hmm.
And that was a huge like surprise for me, because you all of a sudden I could compare like how I was feeling like year before that, and now when I brought Somavedic like to the office. So when you are actually going home from office and feeling great, so there was a huge like difference, even much stronger like experience when I brought the Somavedic home for the first time. So yeah, I was fascinated by this the like device. I gave a few of them to my friends, and they had interesting like reactions, some kind of like they got like detox symptoms.
Yeah, I wanted to just double click on detox
Yeah.
symptoms because this is interesting. And allow me to just open up here a little bit because I felt when I plugged it in, it was like, okay, it felt lighter. I told you before the show that when I come into my office, it's for whatever reason like my favorite spot in the house, whereas it used to be just kind of like another spot. And I feel a certain energy of it. But I also am wondering that detox symptoms, what those look like, because I'm almost certain in some ways I'm going through some of that too.
Mm.
What have some of those detox slash Herxheimer reactions looked like from clients?
Yes, so usually it's there might be headaches.
Yeah.
Some people sleep worse for like first or 1 or 2 nights.
Hmm.
Some they just have to like run 2 to like 3 times to toilet a day.
Yep.
Or there might be even like flu symptoms, but that's more rare. But mm, this is just happening only to some people, but it is happening.
Hmm.
So, and the reason is that if a body is used to basically uh, like live in a strong EMF or strongly polluted environment, and all of
Yeah.
a sudden it has like abundant levels of energy, because like it's not affected by it. It's using the whole energy to clean itself,
Hmm.
and it's so fast that the body can't get rid of it fast enough. So you could get a headache, you have to run to toilet, or you have, let's say, your sleep gets worse. But of course we have lots of testimonials of people that just even biohackers, and they have their own measurements that they brought it home and turned it on, and they have the best sleep. Like two people told us like they slept for 10 hours the
Yeah.
first
You and I were chatting about that when.
Yes, so it varies. It's different with everybody.
Of course, of course. And, I would note that I do feel, past couple of weeks, I've had a pretty busy couple of weeks, right? Like, did a TED talk, help launch a supplement, etc. And then, like, for whatever reason, I just feel calm about it. And I can't explain it. And the only thing different in my house is this device.
Yeah,
It's just amazing to me.
yeah. As a like last year, I spent last 3 months in San Francisco
Hmm.
in co-working space. I was sitting in a co-working space, uh, and I had like, of course, my Somavedic there because it was in the city center. So I had it there, and I went to lunch. And as I got back, there was a one guy sitting in front of me, like a developer. He was like programming something, and like immediately as I like got in, he asked me like, "What is that? Like, what is this? Like, what is this green thing?" And I said like, "Why are you asking?" And he said, "Because I feel so calm around it. So
Yeah.
so great. And I started to laugh because basically, and I told him like, yeah, this is how you should feel. I mean, like this is how, like, this is its effects on you. And he was sitting there just for a few hours.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, this just is showing that some people don't feel it, like will never feel it, like on
Mhm.
like physical, even though it's working, it never stops. And some feel it right away.
So, something you said earlier, I want to expand upon, which is the structure of the Somavedic itself. We'll come back to benefits because there's certain things I want to go into with EMF and water structuring, but the structure of it is very fascinating to me, and I am not as well versed on precious stones. So you have precious stones sitting in the middle of it, and then you said there's natural substances to amplify the production of the, I guess, the waves, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, can we talk about what some of those precious stones are? I mean, we can give, for example, the Medic Green Ultra is the one that I have. Do you mind
Yeah.
just going into a little bit of those?
Yeah. Well, we don't disclose like what precious stones. We disclose what precious metals we use.
Okay. Okay.
I've told that already.
Hmm.
We don't disclose like the exact names,
Okay.
but there are about, in the Medigreen Ultra, in the bestseller, there are about like 19 precious stones.
Hmm.
And we are there's like an, let's say, an upgrade and fine tuning going on like once or twice a year.
Hmm.
So for example, the lover, like Medic, uh last year in December was like upgraded. Then now it can handle like 5G. But what I would yeah, like to get back is that it's also like structuring water.
Yeah, we can
And
talk about that. Yeah.
yes, yes. And because some of Vedic's models do that, some don't. We have two models that are doing it. And this was also, it's like a contactless structuring. So you just put a jug of water next to it, and in about 15-20 minutes the water is structured.
Okay.
uh, and so it tastes different,
So
but
how close, just real quick, how close does the Somavedic need to be to the water filter? Because I showed you mine earlier where it's like right next to it. Does it
Mhm.
need to be that close, or is it sort of just within the 30-meter radius?
We usually recommend to people have it right next to it,
Okay.
but we know that it is affecting basically within. We didn't measure the radius
Hmm.
in terms of how far the it's like the structuring goes on, but we know that if if the plants that are, I don't know, on a balcony or a different room are reacting to that, it's mainly because of that it's working with the water that's in the plants. So
Hmm.
it is, let's say, like it could be like a 30 feet, it could be 40 feet. We didn't do exact measurements,
Okay.
but ideally we just recommend to put it just next to it, within few feet, and yeah, that would be it.
Hmm. Okay, and let's go into some of the benefits of structured water, just high level, because people may be a little unfamiliar with that term. I know Gerald Pollack's work has come up on the show a few times, but just any sort of high level benefits that you experience with structured water.
Yes. So, like the scientist that basically, like, I don't want to say started it, but went mostly into mainstream is Masaru Emoto, like a
Hmm.
Japanese scientist, where he showed that your mind can influence like the structure of the water, the crystals of the water. So, like a structured water means that when you freeze it and put it in a microscope, the uh, you can see a very nice, very precise geometry of the frozen water. It looks like a snowflake.
Hmm.
And the non-structured water, or not structured water, it's very like chaotic.
Hmm.
And so structured water, of course, can be naturally found in flowing rivers.
Hmm.
But other than that, you don't have it like don't have like access to that. Whether it's tap water or a plastic like bottled water, it's not structured.
Hmm.
And why it is important to drink structured water is that in our cells there is only structured water. So when you drink like directly like structured water, your body gets much better hydration,
Hmm.
and also vitamin and mineral absorption is improved.
Hmm.
And to give you an example, so why we think that women usually get rid of headaches is because of the water, because of the hydration. Because a friend of mine from San Diego, she told me that she used to drink like a gallon of water a day, and she was still thirsty, and still she got headaches. And uh, since she got Somavedic, like the headaches are gone, and she said she's drinking half of that. Like,
Yeah, I note that too. It's just very interesting. Like I'm not needing to drink nearly as much water throughout the day, which is fascinating.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So this shows that it's much more bioavailable, like the
Hmm.
water. It's more, yeah, just the body gets just much better hydration. This way, it has like indirect effect, let's say on headaches or whatever,
Hmm.
like on all organs basically.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to EMF and just kind of like how that worked, because it doesn't necessarily, if I take out my Gauss meter, it doesn't necessarily affect the levels. Uh, how would you explain this to somebody who's saying, like, in a 5G world, I want to protect myself, but hey, the Gauss meter, or your RF meter, whatever you're using, is still showing numbers. Uh, how do we kind of get comfortable with that as
Mm.
consumers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So as I mentioned before, like the Somavedic is creating its basically own field.
Hmm.
And I'll give you an example of like a doctor,
Hmm.
quite famous doctor here in Czech Republic that was quite like a non-believer in Somavedic,
Yeah.
and we gave him like a free radical test strips that like some of them you can buy on Amazon, and you can
Yeah.
do like your home test with your urine. This is like quite a new thing. It was not available like until last year.
Hmm.
So we gave him this free radical test strips, and they're like the levels are from 0 to 4, which 4 is the highest. And he's done the measurements, and he was almost at the maximum, and he got like quite scared because of course he knows what free radicals are doing.
Yeah.
And we gave him like a Somavedic, and after 2 days he's done the measurements again, and with basically like the effects were that the free radicals got normalized like into normal levels.
Hmm.
And he done the test again and again, and they were like normal,
Hmm.
and which he couldn't basically believe, but like it was like he was doing the tests. And this is, and yeah, since then he's like a strong believer and supporter. But this is a very important thing because there are like companies that are cooperating with uh, let's say with athletes and NHL and NBA, and they are also like measuring free radical levels because they are causing oxidative stress. So
Hmm.
when your free radical levels are on like a normal level, that means your body is okay and it's not affected, like like the EMF is not having like a negative effect on your body.
Gotcha.
So this is like a indirect like measurement of that,
Hmm.
yes, you are in the field like bathing like in the EMF soup, but your body like is still has it under control. and it has no effect on that.
Hmm.
So this would be like one of the ways how we could like how I would go about it. Then there are bioresonance devices.
Hmm.
uh, they're mainly from Germany and from Russia,
Hmm.
and they can measure the EMF levels in your body.
Hmm.
And so, and they can, basically the bioresonance devices were still are one of the few devices that can measure like the effects of Somavedic on your body, like directly, not only on the biomarkers, but directly.
Yeah.
So you can find them like all over the Europe, and in some states they are recognized as like official um, like diagnostic tool.
Hmm.
So this way, this way you could measure that the Somavedic is working,
Hmm.
that your body is okay, even though you are in the same environment in a city or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you going through this because it is very difficult to explain, right? And but at the same time, it is effective, or at least it feels effective to me. And I love what you're doing with the double-blind study, as well as all of this stuff around bioresonance in order to help prove the efficacy. But you have quite a number of. If I go on your website, the case studies and testimonials appear to be quite large. Do you have any, do you have a quantity that is official in terms of the case studies that have come in so far?
Uh, well, we've sold as of last month, we sold more than 30,000 like Somavedics all around the world.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
mainly in Europe and Japan, because
Hmm.
basically we started there, but yeah, since last year, I like we've set up a US branch where I'm the CEO of that.
Hmm.
And we do, like we get lots of testimonials from
Hmm.
about plants, about like pets, about children stop having nightmares, CEOs, like high level CEOs in Amazon, uh they are saying like, yeah, like I feel much better, like much more productive, my
Hmm.
brain fog is gone. So there are like very different like
Wide
stories.
range. Yeah.
Yeah, very very wide range of stories that are going on. So yeah.
Hmm. Let's go into the different models
Mhm.
because I have the Medic Green Ultra, which I'm looking at the checklist. I'm like, I got everything I want in that. But the number of different models that you have a cobalt, you have a ruby red, you have one that's actually gold. And I would love to just take people through what the different models are and some of the various implications of those models.
Yeah, so there are basically like two main differentiators, and it's if a Somavedic is structuring water or not. So
Hmm.
there are two models, Atlantic and the Medigreen Ultra. Well, basically, there are two standard models, because the premium models, the amber and the gold, that are structuring water as well. So when we are talking about the standard models, the essential, basically essential, let's call them essential models. So then you have the water structuring, and then the other like main differentiator is how basically how much protection are they like providing in terms of like 4G, 5G, etc.
Hmm.
So, so the Medic and the Medic Green Ultra and the models above that have like 5G protection. The lower
Hmm.
models, they don't have it. So the
Hmm.
most affordable unit we have for 5G mitigation is the Medic for $605,
Hmm.
and and the bestseller, basically the Medic Green Ultra, that is for 850, uh, has of course 5G. It's even stronger than the Medic, but on top of that has the water structuring like properties, which is very important feature for basically for our bodies.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And can we talk about, so the ruby red and the cobalt are, they look gorgeous. I'm staring at them right now on the screen. Some of their effects, is that due to the precious stones that you use?
Yes, exactly. So as the founder, basically the how he came up with the Somavedic in general, he decided to do like two, let's say, models that are based on the medic model, but there is like the ruby admixture or the cobalt admixture with different like specifics on what each of the precious stones are like providing. So
Mhm.
one is for, I don't want to say for people that have, it basically calms you more. So the cobalt is for like calming you down,
Yeah.
and the ruby is more of a for your heart chakra to
Mhm.
anywhere like to open up or whatever.
Mhm.
But these are like a supportive I would call them like supportive models. I would definitely like recommend the medic or the medic green ultra, as yeah, we have tens and tens of like testimonials on
Awesome.
top of these two. I mean, on top of the medic green ultra, there are the premium models,
Hmm.
amber and gold. So amber was the first basically device that was able to mitigate the 5G.
Hmm.
We introduced it last year, and in basically in all aspects, it's 4 times stronger than the Medic Green Ultra.
Hmm.
So when you are really working, let's say, in a corporate environment, because like tens of computers and Wi-Fi's and whatever, it's ideal place to have there.
Hmm.
Or in a clinic, or like if you know that like there's like a 5G like really close to you, then that would be the ideal model to go with.
Gotcha. Okay. This is amazing and fascinating to me. It's just so incredible. Uh, wow. The parasites and viruses point. I would love to hear more about how that works and sort of because, admittedly, I've had a parasite before where, I've been traveling around the world and you get something, right? In terms of, is that just a result of the harmonization of the environment that the parasites and viruses just decide to leave? Or are you familiar with how that works?
Yes, it's not like a direct effect on the specific
Yeah,
parasite.
so it's not like
More,
shooting the parasite,
yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's more of a that Somavedic is like helping the body to create an environment where they just don't last.
Hmm.
So like the body just get rid of them. And this also could be measured on the bioresonance devices,
Yeah.
like what kinds of parasites do you have, etc., etc. So and yeah, this could be like you can measure it before and after, and you will see for yourself.
So, for instance, if I had XYZ bacteria, overgrowth, parasite, fungus, whatever, did a before and after, and in the middle through the Somavedic there, and had some sort of prolonged Herxheimer reaction or reaction to this, it could be as a result of just detoxification in my environment. Is that right?
Yeah, that could be. Of course, like I have to mention that like a like Somavedic is it's not like a one pill solution
Of
like
course.
for everything, because we have like really like amazing stories and I like to tell them. But then on the other hand, like there are huge expectations that people just bring it home, plug it in, and miracles will start happening.
Yeah.
And they forget that it's like a very subtle energy, and it's supposed to basically like mitigate the effects of EMF. But but thanks to the like great stories, like they are expecting much more. So
Hmm.
even though they don't feel anything, like they can be assured that it's working. So this has its pros and cons, of course, but we do offer like a 60-day money back guarantee. So
Yeah.
anybody that's hesitating, they can just try it out and see for
Oh,
themselves.
perfect. That, I mean, you covered my next question, which is how do you handle the haters? Because it's a question that I've been getting more frequently, is just sort of how to prove it, right? Because the audience is hyper rational. And you do have quite a number of studies here, and it sounds like you're going through the double blind stuff, but the 60-day money back guarantee is definitely a way to help out. That's for sure.
Yes, yes. In terms of studies, we want to do much more of
Mm.
them, especially in the US,
Okay.
because we know we have something, and then that a clinical like double-blinded study is going on, but we want to do even more of them on the free radicals,
Yeah.
on blood pressure, on or like lots of these things, because like the data that we have so far, they look great. We just want to have like really like official stamps that like it's working great. But when I get, so this is our goal, but when I get back to the, let's say, haters questions, there always will be
Mm.
like haters. Some people just don't believe it, and like, yeah, will hate it or whatever. But the only thing that we can do is show them the data that we have so far. We can show them testimonials, and yeah, we can tell them, yeah, there's like 60-day money back guarantee, but for some that's not enough, but that's just fine. I mean, yeah, they are just not like our real customers. But we don't I in no way I'm forcing anybody to buy that. I just like, yeah, look, like this is what we have. This is like, here you have like the 60 days. You can try it or return it. It's definitely up to you.
Yeah, and look, I'll give you another testimonial right now, in the sense that I told you in the past couple of weeks, like things have been crazy. I've been in and out of the city. I've been doing this TED talk. I've been involved in the launch of a supplement. Haven't been sleeping exactly the amount that I would like, but that's probably more due to exogenous events like these. But at the same time, I feel more relaxed than ever. And like I wake up and I'm just sort of like, that's nice. And it's quite pretty to look at too. And the only thing that's really changed within my physical environment is the Somavedic. So I can't put a finger on, like, I know my HRV is pretty consistent, if not higher than it normally is. I know that I feel better, but the only thing that's changed is that. And so, thank you for the device. It's been pretty fun to work with so far, and I look forward to seeing what comes in the future.
Yeah. Thank you for the. I mean, thank you for the testimonial. So it is what you are describing is quite common, that people that have it at home just it makes them feel calmer and more relaxed. So it
Hmm.
just it's one of the, let's say, side effects of having a Somavedic at home.
Hmm.
And yeah, also really do like to look at it, even though uh, like lots of people from the biohacking like community like basically scared a bit of the blue light. But in absolutely majority of cases, like whoever has it at home feels better, sleeps better, even though like there are not like blue LEDs in eyes, they are like ultraviolet.
Hmm.
But when I look at a Somavedic, I like, it's something, it makes me feel like I would look into fire, like it's this very similar feeling that
Hmm.
calms you down.
Hmm.
So the green light has similar calming effect on me.
Hmm. Interesting. Um, Juraj, this has been an absolute blast, and I appreciate you educating us on the device. I want to just transition into some final three questions, if that's okay with you.
Sure, sure.
Top trick for enhancing your focus.
Sorry, say again.
Top trick for enhancing your focus.
For enhancing my focus. Uh, to do basically breaks. It works for me, like to work on let's say 30 minutes cycles,
Mm-hmm.
and then just rest for a few minutes and then go again. Uh, and at the same time, I know it might sound contradictive, but it's improving my productivity when I'm like delaying like gratification,
Mm-hmm.
like open like Instagram or I don't know, like whatever online magazine. So when you have that on the table and you can see like delay your gratification, so you do the next thing and next thing, and then like you feel more productive you are. And yeah, so you have to just find a balance between this, and this is what worked for me.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, I guess the other question that I always ask people is, where can we find out more about you? Um, but before we do that, I want to hear the book. I'm not letting you off the hook, man.
I'll tell you the name of the book, but I was not able to think of basically the book that you are asking for, but I have this book that's sitting right next to me, and this is the book that helped me a lot in
Mm-hmm.
terms of, because as a CEO, like your life is about like running a company.
Of
So
course.
this book, the Great CEO Within,
Okay.
is the
That's
book. Yes,
okay.
it's but by Matt Mochary. Yeah,
Yep.
Great CEO Within is the book that helped me tremendously in last weeks.
Awesome, my friend. Well, Juraj, where can people find out more about you, the company, purchase a device, etc.?
Yes, so uh, basically all the info that we were talking about, they can find it on our webpage, somavedic.com.
Mm-hmm.
All the testimonials, they can order the products there. They can find the studies, and where they can meet us in person is at the end of March at the Upgrade Lab conference in LA, and end of April at the Paleolithics.
Awesome. Guys listening to this, the show notes for this one are going to be at decodingsuperhuman.com/somavedic. Juraj, it's been a pleasure getting to know you. I'm going to be at both of those conferences, provided that everything goes well with travel and everything. But I'll be at both those conferences. I hope that you and I can grab a coffee together. If not, I'm coming to Prague to visit you because you're not getting off that easy. This thing is pretty awesome. So I look forward to continuing the conversation, and thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, love to hear that, and thank you, Burma, for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. To all the superhumans listening, have an absolutely epic day.